Greetings, tacticians, and welcome to the next episode of Between Content Creators. And this time, I'm hosting once again 3 other different content creators that I had last time. Gentlemen, would you speak for yourself?
What it do? Yo, man. I'll be the one listening today.
And hi there, and hi there, it's Noxia. No, we're speaking over each other already. God. It's Noxia.
Last time it was like, is it my turn to speak? And right now we are speaking over each other. So I say that is a great improvement.
I mean, we are speaking and we are laughing instead of doing PowerPoint presentations, so that's something.
Yeah, it's easier, and there's also a game in the background, because obviously we'll be talking about the game, so why not to put it on the background? And speaking of the game itself, the topic of today's video is the game economy. We have like 9 to 10, depending on how you would look at that, points that we would like to cover. I hope we will be able to wrap things up in the hour, but we will see how this will go. And I think that at least to a certain extent, it's because of the Draupnir that we are touching this subject, because you just released the video about the need of some kind of conversion on the materials, and also talking about economy itself. It's always a great topic, because let's be honest, it's slow here, for the better or worse.
So, I do feel the need to state I do enjoy Tacticus very much. You know, Tacticus is a great game. I think it's one of the better mobile games. That's why I play it. Before I, go very hard on Tacticus for its shortcomings. That video was focusing more on the pitfalls of the conversion systems and economy, where you get too much of one resource and there's no way for you to convert the resources you don't need into resources you need. However, getting to that point is also a problem. The further you upgrade your characters, the more extreme the economy limitations get. For example, upgrading a character to level 50 takes 200 books, or 199 legendary books. Getting them to level 41 takes 100, and getting them from 41 to 50 takes another 100. Applying those books alone takes 100,000 gold. Getting a character, both abilities to 50 from 0 takes 1 million gold, whereas getting both abilities from 49 to 50 takes 500,000 gold. So, I don't know. I feel a little iffy about the economy of the game.
I mean, I have to say that about the level 50 abilities, I feel like outside of Elgion and Neuroshop, I would call them not worth it in terms of how much gold and resources you have to spend. I think that for the long run, if you want to have a wide roster, different options and possibilities, I think that if it's not your point to get 5 characters maxed out and forget about the rest, then I think that stopping at level 48 or 49 should be good enough for most of the players.
Yeah, I mean, I've stopped most of mine at 47 if I've taken them that far, just because as you get to those stages, it's just prohibitive, and it's I don't really want to spend that many coins. Oh, indeed, the badges.
Yeah, I think honestly, in terms of badges, if we would go over the shop in game, not those offers, the legendary badges are one of the best deals here, at least in my opinion. But speaking from the perspective of, let's say, the development of at least my characters, so obviously Karn, as you can see, is on 50-50, but because I just like the character itself. Eldrion, just like Fred mentioned, the Doom is on the 50 level. The active ability is on the 35, because I don't see a reason to gamble with the RNG inside of the game. Ragnar is a little bit different because he is a buffer, and for the multi-hit team, that is purely melee one, it's a very, very, very great thing if you are a guild raid oriented player. But if we would go later on, Aunshi is also a very specific character because his active ability scales with, like, the active that he will refresh scales with his active ability. So it's also somewhat important, but rather than that, also Neurophrobe. But if we would go later on, the only characters that are somewhat worthy of bringing those active or passive values to the 50 level are those that buff the other characters. Like, for example, Kalgar, even Aitana is on the 37th level, and if we would go further on, like, it's still maxed out at around 35 level. So yeah,
I mean, it's quite easy to get multiple characters to epic locked, right? To 35.
as it is
gold
visible
one.
on the screen right now, I have many
Yeah.
characters on that levels. Like this isn't that of an issue, but getting to the level 50, it is.
Yeah, that's a huge jump in terms of how many badges you need and how much time you need to spend farming them, especially since we have quite limited ways to get them. And God forbid, if you don't enjoy playing Onslaught and drop playing Onslaught altogether, you are going to have a really bad time farming characters up to, well, level 47, 49, 48, 50 in terms of their abilities.
Yeah, we truly lack a direct way to get badges we want, because either you have to do enough onslaughts where you are getting the nodes that give you the legendary ones like every so often, or you have to rely on like a 70 or 60% RNG chance to get a badge like every day, which just feels bad.
And
That's
the
why I
forging
was... Sorry.
Yeah, the forging is no good either. I mean, that is ridiculously overpriced. We've got plenty of forged badges, but the actual cost to take those epic badges up to legendary, it's not only obviously the epic badge. I think you can do epic. You can do badges, can't you?
You can do all badges.
You can do all badges, yeah. But to take it from epic to legendary, hang on, have they changed it? I'm sure that used to be 10.
Even if it got like buffed to 8,000 instead of 10, I feel like spending 5 epic badges for one legendary badge when we need so many to get a character maxed out is kind of ridiculous in my eyes, because there are so many characters getting added to the game, and you still need like 42 epic badges per character to get him to 35. So, I mean, paying 5 epic badges to get one legendary one just kills your progress long term.
I'm sure that used to be 10, so the fact it's gone down to 5, it is still highly expensive. I think it should be a 1-to-1, and if you really have to spend the coins, fine, because at least you come across fines. Maybe that's what I was thinking of. There you go.
At least it's still 50, because I remember that badges were always this expensive.
Yeah.
I do wish XP books were easier to come by. Now, just let me defend myself for a second, okay? I know we can get XP books from like a lot of places. Guild raids, Guild War, Arena, events, shop, Rogue Trader. I get that. But when you have to invest, if you want to max a character, when you have to invest 200 legendary books, it really doesn't feel like you're getting enough.
Mm.
Is the sentiment only I share? Does anyone share the sentiment?
Oh, I feel the same.
Yeah, again, we need more books, more access to books. I get the fact that they don't want to drop legendary books for everyone, because if you're a new character, applying a new player, giving a legendary book to someone who just comes in at level 1 gets them straight away up to level 26 or something. It's quite a lot. There you go. You might be able to see how much it gives you.
Okay, so we have Vitruvius on level 2, and yeah.
There you go.
24, yeah.
It's quite a lot for like a new player, but later on, as you said, was it 100 to take it from
to 41?
41 to 50.
0 to 41?
41 to 50, yeah, 41 to 50. It's a lot of books. And I'm starved. I've got no legendary books at the moment.
Like, like we're probably gonna get a new character. Like we get a new character every month, right?
Yeah.
I'm trying to stockpile up. I have 38 books right now. It's quite disheartening, you know. In a week, I'm gonna get maybe like 10 more books if I'm lucky, and that's halfway to Diamond 1. It's I don't know. It just feels bad, especially when it's a character like you really want, or I don't know if I want it. I don't know the character, but like say it's a character I really like from the tabletop and I want to build it, and then I see it's like, hey, it's gonna take me like months and months just to get the XP books. Just feels bad.
I feel like a huge part of the problem is that getting the new character up to arms with, your old roster feels really bad, since you are hyped for the new character, and let's say you unlock it at Epic, since it's a hero release event, and then you have to spend time grinding in Onslaught in order to get it to Legendary. Then you have to spend 100 books to get it to Diamond 1, which is basically 2 times worse than Diamond 3. So then you have to spend way more time again in order to get it to like 5 red stars and Diamond 3 and upgrade its skills, since you are lacking legendary badges most likely too. I personally think that while more experience books could be a great thing for us, and I would love them, I think that there's also a huge problem with the experience that we are getting in various game modes, since for example, fighting a legendary 3 or 4 guild raid boss gives your characters like, I don't know, 100 XP each. If you did 600k damage, that's like ridiculous in my eyes. And I think that giving more experience from, for example, playing guild raids, from fighting onslaughts, from using them in legendary release events, using them in incursions, that should give us way more XP too, because doing so much damage with such beefed up units, it could also be a way to like give them proper experience in order to get them higher and higher, right? It doesn't have to only be books, it can be also proactive in the game modes that the players enjoy.
That would be nice. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, it would be nice. I'm just wondering, would you give the experience to damage or to kills? Because if it was kills, you could help power level the ones that you really want to level up. But of course, damage, the naturally high damage dealers are always going to get all that, XP coming their way.
I mean, my friend got his Vindicta to level 50 so quickly because of how the experience is given right now, because it's purely based on damage. I would consider like doing a mix, like the damage being a part of it and like some bonuses for the kills. So, I mean, the gap that what experience we are getting right now and what experience we could be getting in the future if it got buffed is like so big in my eyes right now that I'm not sure what the balance should be, right?
They need to give us more XP, 10 times more XP from all the resources.
So, like, I just started and finished the match in the arena at the Chapter Master League, so the top one. And as you can see, and I'm talking to the viewers right now, experience even there isn't that great in terms of the match itself. Like, it's not even a 4-digit number, it's like 3-digit number. And while we are speaking about the XP economy, while I agree that experience is a problem, then let's say we would fix that. Like, no, the thing how isn't the case here, because I'm wondering about the another thing, which is economy of the upgrade items itself. Because, for example, I have Neurotrope at Diamond 2, level 50. I can upgrade the character itself, but it will take me a few days to upgrade it. I also have Ragnar, almost at Diamond 3. I am missing, it's almost done, the Super Augmented Strength, but Super Augmented Constitution will take me, I think 6 days, 5 maybe, depending on the luck itself. And also there are probably even more characters So yeah, I can go with Postilion to gold 1, I can go with Corodius to gold 1, I can also go with the first 2 Space Wolves to gold 1 because they are both at the level 35. So even if the current economy of the XP, it's still an issue, I would say, because I am getting experience faster than I'm getting the upgrades. And I'm just wondering if we would change the economy of the experience itself, and to just give my opinion here, I want to get more experience. But then again, I think probably we should also change the economy of the upgrades and how we are getting them. And after that, I think we should also get the thing Draupnir was talking about, that conversion of the resources, something maybe not exactly the same like it's present in the Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, but I think this is a good entry point for the talk about how it should look. Like the first layer of character progression, at least in my eyes, should be easy for the players to understand. Also, if it would be easy, then probably more players would get into the game, because after all, we want those characters to be usable. But for example, if you would consider the legendary events, like this is a double-edged sword, because as of now, I think, and you will probably agree with me, that if you are having characters at gold 1 rank, then you are probably able to get almost every, if not every, legendary character that was released through the legendary events.
Yeah, I can definitely attest to that. I mean, all my characters are at least gold 1, and I've not had any issues. And that's all characters.
So exactly, like I was saying, but getting character to the blue star is impossible without units on the higher gear ranks.
I mean, it's like a thing for whales mostly, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like the blue star, the 5 red stars is doable even free to play if you have been playing since day one and have been using the resources smart. Because I have a friend that does this right now. But a blue star is out of his reach by a long shot, and blue star on a legendary release event for sure is for whales mostly.
And I think it should be at least somewhat possible for the players to obtain those characters. Like what we are seeing right now in terms of the game itself, it's a shame that I can't show this inside of the game, because every event that has been finished is removed, the banner of the event. But we had so many different events in the past few days that I am all down for the new content, but I want to enjoy my characters. And like the Draupnir has a point in terms of especially if we would ease up the process of developing characters, then we need another layer. But I think only then, if that first step of progression from the level 50, from the level 0 or even 1 to 50, that process should be pretty easy. But after that should be something next that would elevate the character even higher in terms of the possibilities, like maybe not exactly some form of like gear upgrade, but maybe something that would change a little bit how they work. Because
like subclasses?
Like there has been many takes on the topic itself. Some games consider those, let's say, next steps in the development of character as some kind of augments, like they change how their abilities works, how they behave inside of the battle, because I'm thinking mostly about the things where you fight stuff. So there are many possibilities here, and I think that it could all work, but it should be done in a smart way. Not like just here you have everything, because we still need to remember about the fact that Snowprint need to make money. But then again, probably you would agree with me that if that first step of progression, I mean from 1 to 50, should be easier, if the next step progression will be harder, and there is still a place for monetization, and there is also that That fancy phrase you are using, Fred, that about the sunken cost fallacy, if I am not wrong.
Sunk cost fallacy, yeah.
So, like, if you are invested inside of the game for so long, then probably you will also want to invest further on, especially if you have some of your favorite characters. Like, you can have every character developed on that first step of that development road to the maximum, and that character will be usable. Because right now, if I would use this Vindicta on the Chapter Master League, and for example, there would be any kind of enemy Overwatch character, she would just die. Like, there is no chances for survival. But I would like to get her to the level where she is usable, maybe not the best possible character, but still in terms of that survivability, that she's able to survive those attacks and maybe do something. Not one shot them, but at least be able to do something. Because right now she will just tickle every character from the DevGuard faction, for example. I need to get my dog away. Like, I need to open the door because she's making funny noises and probably you can hear them. So please continue and I will just open the door.
Yeah, I wanted to catch on the topic and say that one thing that could work for like bringing this Vindicta up could be what I said with the Onslaught game mode and incursions and everything, because you could use those game modes on the lower levels or like, I don't know, silver, gold levels to get her proper experience then in order to get her closer to diamond. I actually wanted to sidestep a bit too, and I wanted to say that to me right now, the problem is that lots of experience progression is tied to guild rates and archaeotech, I guess, while those are very connected to having high diamond teams in order to boost them up, because once your guild is able to do loops on the guild rate bosses, it gets crazy with the income, right? And the problem is that other game modes are nowhere close in terms of like experience rewards in like direct experience or giving you experience books by different means. And I think that it's a huge shame, because getting a character to Silver 1 right now in the game is such a, well, easy and fun process if it's not an Ultramarine character, because it's basically one legendary experience book plus one epic book, I guess, or something. It's not much. And you get those resources for free for like Guild Wars shop and everything. And you get books from Arena now that are like quite good, unironically. And I have to say, spreading the rewards or like buffing other rewards than guild rates or archaeotech could also make it easier for the lower level players to build up their rosters, since in Tournament Arena, for example, you don't really need to have characters at Diamond 3 in order to play it. You need them at, well, Silver 1, most likely, since Epic tier locked is rare right now.
Yeah,
but still, you can grind out the crate even with like common teams, and it's not a problem. So getting it more accessible for players with lower ranks and giving better rewards for the game modes that don't require you to have a tall roster and can like benefit the wide roster players, that could make a huge improvement for the, well, more fresh players that can't really afford to be in a like top 30 guild in order to loop the bosses, right?
I think Snowprint really needs to re-examine how to reuse Archaeotech and what Archaeotech is to the players. Because right now you unlock it by getting a character to 1 star, or the highest star level. And realistically, for most people, that's going to be Snotvaga by just doing a lot of salvage runs. However, I do think it would be significantly more beneficial for everybody if that wasn't the case, where Archaeotech store, or rather the Rogue Trader, was significantly more expanded to do a lot of different things and it was just unlocked right away. And you could trade a wide variety of resources and items, and you could only do shards when you got a character to Winged Star. Because, truth be told, looking at my upgrade materials, I have 26 Boons of the Dark Gods, and Black Legion sucks. Hot take. But I'm never going to use those. That's just going to stay there until the end of time, doing absolutely nothing. I have 31 Honorific Imperialis, I can't pronounce, sorry, from the Guard legendary item. I'm never going to use that. That doesn't matter to me. I have 14 Miod. That doesn't matter to me. I have 9 Boons of Nurgle. I mean, I have 59 Blessed Cog. I don't know, the Admech item.
Cogitators.
Yeah, I should, and this is not for me, it's hey, do everything for me. It's for players as well. Maybe they, for lower level players, they don't have all the characters unlocked. Maybe they don't have any Space Wolves character unlocked, but they just keep getting Miod from random drops. They should be able to give those in, get Archaeotech shards to actually progress the characters they do have. Or the same thing with what's it called?
I really like that idea.
Pardon?
I really like that idea. Trade in the upgrades for Archaeotech.
Yeah, the same thing with components. Components being specifically for machines of war. Say you I always go with this, or if you like something, that is the correct thing for you. When I say oh, this is the most optimal, that doesn't matter as long as you like it and you're having a good time. Say you like Glatian, right? That he's your favorite guy. And you're all Imperials, you played Space Marine 2, you're really in on Imperials, great. And because you're in on Imperials, you're doing the salvage runs on the Imperial track, that's giving you Xenos components. You should be able to trade those in. I get that, I'm not saying it's a bad thing to do Imperial gives Xenos, Xenos gives Chaos, Chaos gives Imperial, that's fine. I'm just saying, maybe it would be nice if you could go to Rogue Trader and say, it's hey, I have 216 Xenos components, maybe you can give me Archaeotech, or maybe you can give me Imperial. Same thing with Forge badges. I don't think anyone's gonna be able to spend all the Forge badges you have. I have 800 uncommon Forge badges. I think if I went out of my way, I wouldn't be able to spend that. Or orbs, and the lack of downwards or upwards leap conversion there is, it's staggering. When we go to Imperial, I have 182 uncommons, 191 commons. I have, let's see, let's actually go there. I have 26 epics and 229 Imperials. There is no way anyone in their right mind would be able to spend that many orbs. Let me convert them. Let me turn them into things that I actually care for. Because say, and it doesn't even have to be you don't have the faction. It's maybe you don't like the faction. Maybe you love the faction and everything is already maxed out. The fact that items or upgrade materials, you just earn them and they just stay there and there is nothing we can do about them, that really sucks. The Rogue Trader... Oh, sorry.
I was saying, especially if you've completed... Let's just say you're a massive fan of, I don't know, orcs. And you've already got them... Well, I thought I'd raise this because I think you have got all of yours to Diamond 3, or you're very close. Anything you now get for those teeth, that is just going to sit there. I know it's a longer-term pair, or the whales out there, or the one who've only focused on a faction, but any teeth that you get if you're at a Diamond 3 for all 5 orcs, they're going to sit there. They're going to do nothing for you.
Yeah, I think that a huge thing that could be improved and wouldn't break any balance of the economy, since it wouldn't give more resources to the player base, is expanding the guild gifting system. Because we can only gift up to rare items, and it's 1 per 7 hours. Why not let us trade more items? Let us give 2, 3 rare items. Let us give 1 legendary item, 1 epic item. I don't know. Figure something out. Because if I don't like the Space Wolves and I have tons of Miod and different upgrades, why should I be sitting on them? Why should other players be like locked out? Right now, I don't need any orc thief because, well, I'm past this point, like Nox said. And I'm asking my guildmates if they want to upgrade their orcs, since I have thief laying around that I can get rid of without any problem. And this kind of thing should be expanded upon because, well, with my legendary upgrades for orcs, for example, I won't be able to do anything if nothing changes, like Draupnir said. It's just dead stuff for me. And when I get a legendary upgrade from a crate, when I get a legendary upgrade from a reward, if it's an orc legendary upgrade, it's worse than a common upgrade. And it feels bad.
Maybe they could also tie that into Architect. So if you are giving up like a legendary in a guild request, instead of being rewarded with, I think it's 10 gold, or whatever the rare one is at the moment, give
Which
one
is
up.
nothing! It's nothing!
Well, you've got 3 now.
Just don't give me anything at that point. You're insulting me!
It could be like 1,000 gold and it wouldn't be a problem, to be honest.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, if it's a legendary, why not reward those people giving up those legendaries with Architect? Another way to get that Architect number moving.
Yeah, and like make guilds more willing to cooperate in terms of upgrades, right? Because 10 gold, holy shit, like that's like a spit in the face, kind of. And yeah, like giving proper rewards for cooperating the item exchange and allowing us to get rid of the items that we don't want, allowing us to get the items that we need but can't really get right now, which is a problem for some free-to-play players that are newer in the game, I think, because there are some people that cannot simply, with the limited campaign numbers that we have and more upgrades coming into the game, some people are locked out of upgrading their roster any further, and they have to like wish for good shop refreshes, they had to wish for arena crate drops, and they can't get, like, for example, an ultramarine that they need to upgrade in order to progress their Indomitus campaign. They can't progress it without this luck, and they can't like request an epic or legendary item that they need, but they can't also get to it, so it's a problem too.
I think Tacticus has what I like to call the modern Call of Duty problem, where to get the thing you want, you have to jump through so many unnecessary and arbitrary hoops that you get so frustrated to the point that the action of unlocking the thing you want is simply not worth the frustration you're going to suffer. Like, hey, you want to get badges? Well, buddy boy, then you have to do this completely unrelated onslaught track, which has like a guaranteed chance to give you badges you want for your character. If your character isn't good in guild raids, I'm sorry, you gotta do guild raids. Or you want items? Well, you gotta do the campaigns you don't even care for to do them. I just think it would be a incredible improvement in quality of life if we could spend our energy, and I'm not saying like all of it, but just a little bit of it, to get like directly XP books, badges, orbs, gold. Like if there were nodes where it's like, hey, you do it, it gives you like 100 gold, 1,000 gold, or whatever is balanced. Same thing with XP books, same thing with badges. Because, like, say, what if you're at a point where, you know, you got all your characters, right? Say you really like orcs. 5 diamond trees, great. Say you really like AdMech and you're diamond trees as well, and then you get your campaign characters, and you look at your roster and you're like, I don't really care for any of these characters. I don't want to upgrade them. I don't like them. And what are you going to do with your energy? You're just kind of stuck spending it on upgrading them. I mean, that's maybe like an extreme example, but I just, like, my point stands that I wish we could spend energy for, like, resources we currently cannot get with energy.
So I would like to look at the bright side, and this is a bit of a hot take, and I already know that, but since since we got Titus, it's not anymore 5 characters. Like, probably in some very distant future, maybe like Cyberpunk 2077. But there is still a possibility that you will be able to use those resources. But then again, if we would go lower,
Go to the Tyranids.
where is the 5th Tyrannid? Where is the 5th Tyrannid? Where is the 5th Dark Angel? Where is the 5th World Eater? Where is the 5th Adeptus Mechanicus? We are also missing, probably we will get the 4th Blood Angel, but maybe Snowprint will do something exactly different, and maybe they will begin a new faction, or maybe we'll get the
I
5th
wonder.
Tyrannid. I don't know, but
See, out of my mind, I reckon they've got something planned. They're going to release something, and it's going to be like, right, you now have to choose out of these 6 factions. It's a bit like what they've done with the Machines of War. Which one of these 6 new characters do you want? It's like, no, don't give us that choice. I want them all.
Yeah, and this is why I also agree with all of that sentiment. And I also, while you were talking about the possibilities where to spend those resources, so Fred knows, but there is this one game that is my guilty pleasure, which is called the Azur Lane. And there are 2 ways where you can spend your upgrade materials there that aren't connected to the characters. And one of those things is a very similar thing that we can hear. Don't mind the chat.
What the fuck?
This is just our call out for when we are beginning the guild raid. So
We do that.
We don't overlap each other out.
You do it on 2.5 million health?
Nah, yeah, as you can see, this is like 1 hour ago, 70 minutes ago.
Yeah, but still, like, we used to do it at like 500k or something.
I get you.
guys-
I get your sentiment, because I also think this is a redundant procedure. But I guess this is just to keep the habit, so no one would forgot about it.
Good habit.
But then again, the projects, you have something called lab over there. And while that lab is only beneficial to you, the projects here could be beneficial to the other players. I don't know, maybe in that way, which, like, the guild leader or the officer is choosing a project that will give like, you are spending as a guild member those resources on set guild project, and that guild project will give you something. I don't know, XP books, badges, or
donating like epic and legendary upgrades, for example, right?
So instead of helping just one person with your donation, you could have this common goal with your whole guild, and you would get something much bigger. So the economy wouldn't be flooded with those XP books, like epic legendary upgrades for epic legendary books, for example. So this is also a possibility. And there were also the donations in terms of those more personal things. So it's already here in the side of the game. So yeah, but the projects could be something like that. Like, one common goal for the guild, you can donate the stuff that you don't need, but you will get something that is somewhat universal. God damn it, which is good for everybody. English is hard. And this is just another way to introduce something that we are already talking about. Because, like, this is also just a tip of an iceberg, because we have talked about the badges, we have talked about the orbs, we have talked about the XP books. Coins are something that we probably don't have even to talk about, because everything inside of the game requires those coins. But there is also a topic of salvage, because this is also a very, very scarce resource that, well, just to give a perspective for newer players. So to get your legendary item from level 10 to 11, you need 5,000 of those salvage and 100k gold, which is also a very high number. To give a perspective, I am not sure if I have an epic item that is on level 8. So the cost is almost the same in terms of ascending from epic to legendary as from leveling an epic item from level 8 to level 9. It's certainly 400 salvage. I'm not sure about the coin cost, but probably it's almost the same. So the difference is so high here that once again we are facing the same situation as we did with all the previous resources. I won't be naming them because you already know about that. So yeah, like this could be just also added to the pool of the things that we can get from our unspent resources. And I think you will agree with me on that part.
I mean, yeah, salvage is like a bottleneck too. It's like a big bottleneck, like experience or other badges or something that differs between rare, epic, and legendary a lot. And well, yeah, I agree 100%. Salvage is like a sleeper problem from times to times, but I'm not the kind of person that invests into legendary equipment, so I don't feel that much affected by it, but I can certainly understand that getting a character to legendary level 11 equipment will take lots of time and, well, other equipment destroyed in order to get this amount of salvage.
There also needs to be a way of destroying that equipment that you're using for salvage, because at the moment when you go through it, it is just tedious. It's like, hang on, it's like,
oh god, yes.
I mean, regarding the equipment thing, it should be like made easier to like re-equip characters too, right? You shouldn't have to go to the Volk screen in order to take down his items, in order to equip it to another character, because that's like a big part of it being tedious right now, because you want to give the item for like every character so you don't have to jump between them to re-equip them. And well, then you could like have 25 to 35 characters with upgraded items, let's say at epic level 9, and it would be good enough for most of the players, right? And they could just like swap around depending on the needs.
So this just all boils down to we need like quality of life upgrades and economy upgrades, because they are things that they're not as sexy as a new character, new guild raid boss, new campaign. But I would argue like all of these are significantly more important for people to, enjoy the game.
Yeah, for player retention is super important, because how many
they're not a shiny new toy, but the fact that you desperately need all of these for all of your shiny toys, like the fact that we haven't really made strides in this department is very disheartening. I mean, Rogue Trader exists, I get that, but as established, it's for people who get like to the highest point, and I reckon some people will drop until they get to that point. To their credit, the Titus survival event did give like a lot of gold. It was like so much gold, especially because I like did 2 times. I played it 2 times and didn't do it. I got like 50,000 gold or something crazy like that.
Yeah, that was good. I really hope that the next one we get later this month. When this is going out,
the next one. But like then again, it makes me think, and like it's such a it's just such a bad thing how my mind works. 50,000 gold is a lot, sure, but it's half of what you need to even apply all the books to get a character to level 50. Not even taking into account like the abilities and
like it's a lot, especially for newer players, but for the veterans at the higher levels, it's a nice touch, but it's not a lot, right?
Yeah, because the fact of the matter is, and this is just the more veteran players, they do say, and I used to feel the same way, is it's actually not that hard to get characters to Diamond 3. And to be fully honest, from where they are saying it, where I was like saying this, it did make sense. However, this ease doesn't come from the fact that it's innately easy to level up characters. No, it comes from the fact that we have so much gas in the tank that we can just dump resources and brute force our way to getting a character level 50. However, the problem arises from when you run out of gas, right? Because since the last Vitruvius event, I have like 5 more Diamond 3 characters who weren't gold. Like, I brute force, I just pummeled my way through this, and now I'm fully out of gas. I have no badges, no XP books.
Oh no!
And now I see the reality of, oh no, it takes so much time to level up characters. Like, I'm dreading. This is such an unhealthy way to think. I don't want the next character to be good. Because if it is, it's gonna take me like a gazillion years to max them out. I don't know. It's just the way I think about it.
Yeah, it's correct. The out of gas moment, when it happens, it's brutal. And like you said, I also had times where I was hoping that the character turns out to not be so great and perhaps usable only in like tournament arena or something, so I can get it to silver 1 and it's not a problem at all. But if it turns out to be like guild raids meta, oh my god, I will be feeling so bad if I'm not prepared to upgrade it and I have like 5 legendary badges and 13 experience books. It's a hard experience when it happens.
And one thing that, this is never gonna happen. This is pure cope. I've been told this is cope. Snowprint needs to be significantly more liberal with their use of reset stones. Like, just because a character gets that's not enough, because the meta shifts and characters just become useless through no fault of their own, or no nerfs, no upgrades. A while ago, Revas...
Use it for the video, Szeku, use it.
No.
Revas was a really good character. In Tournament Arena, the Overwatch was crazy. In Guild Raids, when Actus first came out, it was a good way to deal damage with Eldrion, Actus, Revas, and Darkstrider. But now, it's everything has Infiltrate. She's useless in Guild Raids. And the people who build her are just stuck there. And I wish they were just give us more reset stones, 2 a year, 1 a year. That's just my personal opinion.
2 a year would be great, but 1 per year could be more realistic from the business perspective, right?
Because it's a really bad feeling to level something up and then, that thing's just obsolete. It's not good enough anymore. Sorry.
I'm going to have to disagree with you there. I think that is just part of the game, because rather than just having everything all of a sudden free to level up the new flavour of the month, you have played the game. It's a status symbol. I mean, I've got Rayvas at Diamond 3. A lot of people have. She was literally the pinnacle at one point. But I think that's fine. The fact that you can't just go, oh, well, it's no good anymore, let's dump everything and then put some of the resources, because not everything, because obviously a lot of it for Rayvas will be just Tau only. But you could help power level all the way up to 50 another character. I think it's fine for reset stones to be very rare. I don't, because it is a case of, for me, suddenly I haven't got very many characters at Diamond 3. In fact, I've got 2. But it is a case of there will always be Diamond 3 now. I've got everyone at Gold 1. For me, I'll look at those two and I've been through a lot of those two. There was a time where, they were my favourite characters. I've gone through it. I want to leave them at Diamond. Even if I had the reset stones, I wouldn't use it. Just because part of the game for me is I've done it with those. They were my guys or girls at the time. And it means that you have to go through that leveling everything up again, spending your resources to get all the items. And that play cycle is, I think, you still need that play cycle. I don't think we should shortcut that very often.
Plus, also, if you think about it, she's still usable inside the legendary events, so it's not like those resources were wasted. I get your sentiment that she was better and she's now worse, but still...
I mean, she's the same. She got power crept, right?
Yeah.
I maybe phrase it wrong, but obviously you can just block her with the Matanio. You can use Celestine. Even I am purely running Celestine on the arena team because she's just able to disable two different characters with Overwatch if she's not being hit by, for example, Thaddeus. So, like, sure, she is a very strong character, but I use her mainly to just disable Overwatch itself. And also, Matanio, well, the thing is, he's having the infiltrate on the active ability, and also even if he doesn't kill the Rivas, then still she's inside of the melee range, so she cannot activate that Overwatch on the ranged attack. And so basically you need to just run inside of the Rivas adjacent hexes, so only then she will be able to attack you. But I purely understand that so many characters are having infiltrate right now, and even if you consider Karn, then well, he's chunky for a melee character. But don't forget also that there is this one character that exists that I used to run her on the first iterations of the tournament arena, mainly because
she's sleeper OP, I think.
Mainly because of her passive ability. She was so broken back in the day, especially with Makotep, when we didn't have all of those crazy characters that we're having right now. But yeah, she was really, really good back then, and also she's very, very good right now if you are able to use her. Her active is also great. Like, if you are able to score those 3 hits, like, it's
proper can opener.
Yeah, exactly. It can like demolish even more chunky units. I don't know about the higher brackets, but I play common because I just don't like running into the double Ragnar team. But yeah, I'm positively sure that she's able to demolish those chunkier characters, like, for example, Black Templars, since they don't have the resilient trait. So yeah, like the possibilities are there, and I still think that it's not a wasted resource. Like, there is one thing that needs to be said. We certainly play in a different ways. Maybe like it's not one way per each content creator inside of this video, but for example, I like to collect things, I like to level them up, and this is why I proposed an easier way to get characters to that level 50 and the Diamond 3 rank, because I want to use them, like I have mentioned with Vindicta, but let's say even with the Kutzkolden or the Thaddeus, they are on the Iron rank. Not even to mention the Shadow Sun. Nandi's probably gonna be not happy about that, but still, I like the character, like lore wise, but she's not that great inside of the game, so I don't see exactly the point. And there are so many other characters on my priority list as of now that if I will be able to start her by 2030, then it will be a good thing.
Well, when I was saying the reset stone thing, it was from the point of view of like not free to play. Like, it was from a very specific point of view where we did have someone like this in my previous guild before Bloody Rose, where these are the players who they're not whales, they don't spend as much money, but they have the mentality of, hey, this is a good team, like this is the best team, I'm going to spend a little bit of money, or like however much was needed, and then I'm going to get that team, and then I'm going to be done. And like that is a very painful thing to do, I feel, especially because by the nature of the game, there's always going to be power creep. Because Ro is going to get power crept. I don't think that's a controversial statement to say that Ro isn't going to be the best team in
Forever.
Tacticus for the rest of Tacticus's lifespan, however long that is. That's not going to happen. That's not realistic. Like, something's going to come out that's like marginally better, or slightly, I don't know, better than Ro, and then after that, something's going to come out that's better than that, and then something's going to come out that's better than that. So if you're meta chasing, if you're not a rail, it's kind of painful for that to happen, or like I don't know, I'm just yapping.
I see a point there. Yeah. I mean, it is a case of things do change. I mean, if you take, Magic or Hearthstone, you've got the opportunity with the online games to like dust your cards, to create new cards based off what you've just got rid of. So I do kind of see your point, but again, this is a completely different game to them. I'll agree with reset stones. I don't want to say you should pay for them. You definitely shouldn't pay for them. They should be more accessible for when there's big changes. I mean, you could even argue, well, maybe not with the reworks. Reworks. Maybe some people wouldn't be happy, but they're actually all quite good so far. So maybe that's the bad example. But let's say someone was changed and it did extra row. Let's just say they change extra row, and all of a sudden nobody's doing 5 billion damage with them anymore. A reset stone would then have to be offered. And that might happen.
You know what the problem is? The problem is that people had to build Exeter Rob plus Tangita plus Actus to get the engine going.
Mm.
And they built those 3 characters exactly for this one team, for this one combo, specifically for Ro. Mm-hmm. And if you give one reset stone, it's something, but they still feel like kind of cheated that they had to spend 400 experience books to get 2 other characters to Diamond 3 in order to enable the combo fully, right? But giving research stones with major like changes to the characters that are good and we want to put them in the line is a good idea, but the synergies that you have to build in order to enable some combos is also one thing that we can't forget, right?
I think with the Ro, I do think they can simply, because of how Ro is, they can very easily nerf him and not give away a reset stone, and that would be reasonable. Hot take, I know, I'm right. No, but seriously, it's the best character in the game. It just doubles the damage of other teams into Screamer Killer.
Mm.
So if you nerf him, like say you make his passive 1 hit, that's not going to help his damage because a lot of his damage comes from his active on last 2 turns. It will be less good. It will be healthier for the game. He will be less good. Like the damage discrepancy between the teams will be significantly less, but he will still be the best thing against Screamer Killer. And I would argue he will still be more valuable than other teams because he can be used into almost anything.
And he will still feel the same, right?
Yeah.
The combo would be there. It would be satisfying because a big thing about raw teams and neurotrop teams is that they feel satisfying once you see them rolling. When you see this huge damage number on neurotrop, you feel good. When you see raw like smacking everything like on the GIF that was shared recently, it also feels good. Like it's like the kind of combo that gets you going and makes you like enjoy the game quite a lot, right? And if Ross starts doing 1 hit instead of 2 on his passive, it won't change how good it feels. The damage just will be more balanced, and he won't power creep the other teams that much. And I say this as a AdMech enjoyer and main, right? I want Raw nerfed. I don't want him to dominate the meta.
And as a multi-hit team enjoyer, I am fully down for that.
Yeah, and I also want Ragnar Anshi nerfed, so yeah.
Yeah, but even if you would nerf them, we still got Asmodai that is, I think, a hidden gem. Draupnir, you did.
Oh god, yeah.
You did a video of him.
So I do want to establish this. I do want to clear the waters. Asmodai is pure cope. Asmodai is not good. I do apologize to everyone. I want him to work. I want him to be better. He is not good. There are always better options. I just really like him.
Asmodai is one of my characters, a go-to character in Guild War for me. If I see the Death Guard team, Asmodai comes in and he slaps. He really does.
I mean specifically for guild raids. That's what I am just
right, okay.
Yeah, like for guild raids he's cope. I don't know about Guild War. I never used him in Guild War. I will know.
Yeah, well, as I said, in Guild War he is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, and I just brought Asmodai because I agree with you that he needs that cope. Like, I mean, he needs Aunshi because his active ability just works for the 2 turns. And I think this is a downside because of the fact that you can activate his active ability whenever he's standing on the map, and the difference on the distance between him and the enemy doesn't matter. But you can support him with Aunshi, and after that you get 4 turns. So basically, there is a chance that he might be good on Magnus. I didn't test that out yet. But still, like you have mentioned, there are better characters to go rather than him. But my point was that some characters need nerf, and I agree that Ragnar and Aunshi are kind of broken. Maybe it's okay in the guild raids because this is a PvE environment and high numbers in PvE aren't that bad, up to the point where there are not great discrepancies between them, like we are having with the Raw team. Like, I would say the multi-hit team and Neurotrop team are more closer. They are closer instead of the Raw team. But still, I think if there could be some changes to how Asmodai is working, he could be also a great character in the guild raids, and this is why I think he's a hidden gem, because that hidden part needs to be removed from how he is working exactly. And this is why I have advocated for abilities to behave in a different way based on the game mode. But we already know that at least for this moment, this won't be the thing, because I got the response directly from the Snowprint. So we have to cope with what we have. At least I have, because this is my idea.
I mean, I wanted to say that we have had this discussion before in like different chats, but when there's like a character that is like pure copium to bring to guild raids or to be playable in like guild wars or anything, I don't think that it's a bad idea to like bump it a little, like give Asmodai 5% more damage on his active. See how it works. Maybe it starts to like be usable in guild raids. Make Katskoden do something like more. Like when there's a character that is agreed to be pure copium to play seriously, if you want like good performance, I don't think that it would be a bad idea to like bump it in the right direction, especially since we are seeing some characters getting like full reworks, like the upcoming, when we are recording, the upcoming Galgords and Snapareka reworks. We have had characters getting buffed in the past. We got 2 characters kinda buffed this patch too, because the Rusk and Arjak got buffed with getting the unstoppable trait. So it's something. They don't have it right now when you are recording, and they will have it like in a few days. So it's like those small things, small bumps that make the character more playable, and we could do it for the traits, of course, like what happened with Rusk, for example, or we could do it with their base stats like health, damage, armor. We could do it with their active ability, passive ability. It doesn't have to be like huge. We don't have to make I don't know
100 more.
Yeah, Katskoden remake doesn't have to be a nuke, right? It can be like bumped a little, and then we see how it works. If there's enough improvement, we can stick with it. And okay, if it's still bad, bump it a little bit more, like step by step.
don't do anything drastic. Like, take every patch, take one character that is like the most trash in terms of the data. It's the least used. It's having like the worst performance in guild wars, the guild trades. Bump it a little. Like, okay, I see the screen. Yeah, and
I say Niall first on that.
Niall is probably the most hated character right now. I would say that. Like, I am not sure about that because I just got unlocked him. He, as you can see, he's bare, very bare. I just got him from the Guild Wars store, and
That's exactly why he's hated.
Yeah, he's terrible as well.
Yeah, he's terrible as well. Like, I don't know. Like, I had that talk on the main Discord of the game that maybe if we get the Machine of War, that would help enabling him. It would help, but like, this isn't solving the problem. This is just making a bypass on the problem. Like, the problem is still there, and making a Machine of War that would enable his passive, I am sure. Yeah, if I'm not wrong, yeah. So the passive, like the amount of ice hexes surrounding him, just boosts his damage. This doesn't solve the problem because still, it's the problem that persists. So yeah, like exactly, some changes would be in order. I don't know what kind of changes should be best for the Niall, because I didn't play him at all, even in the test build that we as content creators have access to. And this is an information for the newer players, because the older players certainly know that, especially those that come from the Discord. But yeah, like the small changes are also applicable to the things we have talked before. Why would you want to invest? And maybe, okay, so this is a hot take, but under one of my recent videos, someone said that half of the characters currently in the game feel like glorified NPCs in terms of the usefulness. So a really hot take, but maybe not half of them, but there is a fair share of the characters that certainly feel like they are somewhat of an NPCs because of how bad they are, because of the power creep, because of the utility of the characters that are new.
There are 70-something characters in the game, maybe 80 now?
Something
I feel
around
like
that.
76 or something, I remember counting some time ago.
Yeah, there's 76 characters total in the game. 47 or 8 of them are like actually guild raid viable in certain scenarios, but the remaining are not. And to be honest, those characters are probably viable in Arena, in War. If not there, they're viable for campaigns. If not there, they're viable for release events. Like, every single character is viable for legendary release events. So like, every single character is viable. It's just certain characters are more viable in a lot more places. That's why they feel better. I do want to say one thing. This is very important, okay? This is the Asmodai Glazer talking. Asmodai is pure cope for now. Asmodai is bad for now. If they release a 5th Dark Angels character and that character is like really good, then Asmodai instantly becomes better. Because of like how his passive and active works. Very silly thing to say. Asmodai is the same as Actus, where they're both enablers. Actus is as good as the best mechanical character currently in the game, and because Ro is like the best thing in the game, Actus is one of the best things in the game. Asmodai is the same thing, where he's as good as the best non-Asmodai Dark Angels character in the game, and currently, because there is no such thing, he's bad. But if they release the 5th Dark Angels character, and he like does the same things as Ragnar, he will be better because Asmodai exists. Just pure cope. I do have to say this because I don't want to get like crucified in the comments, being like, Draupnir, you lied to us. You're not Asmodai Glazer. Because I do want Asmodai to be good. Silence.
Awkward one at that. No, I totally agree. I was really hyped when Asmodai was released, despite that whole drama that Snowprint lied to us about the possibility of obtaining him as a free-to-play player, which I still find funny. Because there was not such thing said like you will be able. No, possibly you will be able. That is a huge difference. But besides that, I also really want him to be a good character in terms of usability, and I also think that this might be the case, which was with the Adeptus Mechanicus. This might be and also the case with World Eaters. I think that also it might be the case with the Tyranids, because they are the faction of summoners, because they are a hive. So that data mine that was done so many months ago about the parasite of Mortex, which could be also a summoner, would be a really great thing. And there, well, the Biovore is also a summoner, obviously. And
For those that don't know, the parasite in Mortex does summon Ripper Storms for tabletop, so it probably would be a summoner in this.
So
I mean, with this pace of Tyrannid releases, I'm pretty sure that we'll see Gene Stealer cards faster than the 5th Tyrannid.
Yeah, that might be the case.
Well, they did say that they had the 5th Tyrannid ready, and they're just keeping him for, we don't have any content, something went wrong. So, unless, God forbid, unless something goes terribly, terribly wrong, we're not going to get the 5th Tyrannid for a little bit.
So all hackers out there, you've just heard that. If you don't get Tyranids,
Release it.
I am joking, as you can tell.
Endorses hacking? Question mark? Exclamation point? Draupnir Two-Face revealed?
No, that was me. That was Nox. It was Nox saying that.
Draupnir and Nox collude for hacking Tacticus.
Bonnie and Clyde.
Just tonight at 8. We have reporters on the ground, and I just yell at them. It's just 25 minutes of me yelling at people about how Neurotrope is not good, but I love him anyways.
I mean, one thing about like the 5th Tyrannid being like a backup character in case anything goes wrong, it's one thing, right? But we have the same situation for the 5th Admech now, and the 5th Dark Angel, and the 5th World Eater possibly. And it's like, how many reserves do you need? Like, do you really need to be safe for such a long time? I get it that the Tyrannid was like a safe lock. Okay, that's a smart thing to do. But we got like 3 new factions added to the game since they said that the 5th Tyrannid is like the safe character in terms of if something goes wrong. So maybe please give us the 5th Tyrannid, then the 5th Adeptus Mechanicus becomes the safe log, and we can move to new factions and have complete synergies and can like judge the factions fully without saying that, well, perhaps the 5th Admech will break Exeter Row even more. We don't know.
Oh my god, that probably not from what's been leaked. Probably not.
Probably not, but yeah.
Though I do want to clear something up. Sorry.
I want them to fix Vitruvius. His legendary's going on now. Fix Vitruvius. Get that passive, which adds 1 more hit. Yeah, click on the passive. It adds 1 more hit, and just get rid of the cap. Get rid of the cap. And then he can be the 5th Tyrannid, because that would go fantastic.
Okay, no joke. Yeah. That would actually make Neurotrope do like more damage than Ragnar comps.
Exactly. I think it'd be great.
I think that it would be great. Yeah.
I will love that. Like, same thing with Ahriman. Like, people were saying, Draupnir, you're coping this, that. Like, and nobody has been able to provide a character who does either 10,000 damage with Flame or Psychic, other than Neurotrope. Because that's what you need to reach the 5,000 cap on Ahriman. Like, Ahriman...
Vindicta crits, maybe?
I guess, like, 10,000 damage?
Yeah, I think it's possible.
Per hit?
Yeah, I think. The crits, once you start them,
if
you do the Bloodletter combo.
Oh, dude, okay. Just, like, jumping through hoops now.
Once again.
Like, jumping through all these hoops. Like, it's because, like, if Ahriman wasn't capped, Neurotrope would be, like, gaining 30,000 damage per hit. That's, like, really strong.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
one thing I do want to say, it's related to what we said before about the Dark Angels. Snowprint does get a lot of flack for how they handled Dark Angels, and rightfully so. Like I'm not like I'm saying like you're right about giving them flack about AdMech, about world leaders, about Tyranids. Like they deserve all the criticism. However, I do understand why Dark Angels are the way they are. Because like they've said in general chat, I think Rata said it, where Games Workshop was telling them to release like the Dark Angels character for the Warhammer event, so they did so, and then they released the other character, and then they couldn't release Asmodai because Asmodai was a new model, like current Asmodai we have in the game is a new model, and there's no way in hell Games Workshop is gonna let their new model be released in a mobile game before it goes out on tabletop. So that's why Asmodai took as long as he did, like, for us to get him, because the codex wasn't out. The last character, I'm like pretty sure Games Workshop is doing some shenanigans. But other characters, like other factions, they deserve the criticism, probably not for Dark Angels. I'm like understanding of that because of how Games Workshop
Dark
is.
Angels were told to be like the special release faction that will get added over time slowly, right? We had the news, we accepted them, and bitching about it right now from a player's perspective is like wrong to do because
I mean,
we were informed.
It's not wrong. It's like, you know, it's annoying. I understand. I wish they were out. It's just like I understand why it's the way it is. Doesn't mean I like it. Doesn't mean I'm defending it. It's just. It's not that Snowprint being like, oh, darn those players, they aren't getting Dark Angels characters now.
They certainly are not going to get the 5th need pretty soon, I guess.
If you look at the 40k roadmap from Games Workshop, the next 3 are the Astra Militarum, which I don't know if we'll get anything new for them, Eldari, and then Imperial Knights. Now, I don't think we'll have an Imperial Knight faction.
Maybe raid boss.
But it could be a raid boss. That would be good. I was actually thinking, going back to something we talked about earlier.
Or maybe we could get an entirely different game mode where Machines of War could work like normal characters and Knights could work like Machines of War right now.
Big
I was thinking the Knights would be the projects. And then you'd have that as like in, let's say, the Guild War, instead of just being like like we've got at the moment with the Blood Angels swooping in on turn 3. For the headquarters, you could have your knights standing at the back, pummeling the enemy as they try and attack your HQ.
That'd be cool. That'd be really cool.
But who knows?
I
but those are the next 3.
Maybe we might get a 6th character with Guard and Eldari. Eldari is like really popular, and they have like 10 million characters on tabletop, so there's no shortage of what they can add. I do because
you've got Striking Scorpion, the Autarch.
Yeah, like Osterman, Eldrad. I mean, Eldrad's pretty similar to Eldarion. It is what it is. Or even Troop Master, or like anything. I don't know. The issue is, I think Titus being added like tells us that hey, they're willing to add 6 characters, but it doesn't tell us when they're willing to add the 6th character, because Titus is like, truth be told, Space Marine 2 was like probably the most far-reaching 40k content there is. Like everyone likes Space Marine 2, everyone likes Space Marine 1, everyone likes Space Marine 2, so it makes sense that we get Titus in the game because it's like the most well-known 40k thing. But like, are we gonna get to
come out?
Yeah. Like, everyone loves the Mechanicum soundtrack. Like everyone. So, are we gonna get that again? Like,
that's what I thought.
These questions.
Yeah, I honestly thought. I said it in my video. I honestly thought that the next time we saw Survival, it would be with the Mechanicum release, and I'm a bit gutted I was wrong. But I'm really happy I was wrong as well, because having that survival mode come back so soon is brilliant. Love it.
It's a good thing. People like that mode, from what I understand.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, and also they are bringing a character that is not obtainable through any other means possible for the newer players. So if you don't have Ascor, then you will have a possibility to get him. Because I can talk about that. Because this will be released a few days probably after the patch notes.
Yeah.
Knowing my speed of work.
We can talk about the patch notes. Yeah, I've been teasing with the Gen Stealer cards.
Oh my god, patch. Gene Stealer Colts. I'm gonna say it. I don't care. You know, I usually try to be nice to everybody.
Don't care?
You know, no, not about that. Not about that. I usually try to be nice, right? Everyone's entitled to their own opinions. Bro, there are like 7 fans of Gene Stealer Colts, and one of them I know personally. They're like it's insane. Last edition, okay, Admech and Drukhari were insanely overpowered. Everyone was playing them. This edition, when Gene Stealer Colts were overpowered, I mean, there were like people playing them, but not that many people. Dude, like, it's Gene Stealer Colts, brother. What? Like, at least we're getting a patriarch. I like the patriarch. I dislike the fact that his name is difficult, so I will have to call him Peter. It is what it is.
Peter Griffin.
Peter. I'm gonna call him Piotr. That's what I'm gonna call him. Anyways, I mean, it's cool. We're getting Gene Stealer Colts. It's awesome. We're like, they're psychers. They do stuff. It's gonna be cool. We're getting orcs reworks. Orcs can get up to like 16 hits now. The can guy. That's pretty cool. Like, it's cool. Like, the quality of life upgrades. Like, I have a 30-minute video coming up. These quality of life upgrades, there's like one bad thing in the patch. Everything else is positive.
Wait, you are doing a 30-minute video?
It's already up. Or, I mean, it's waiting. It's probably going to be up by the time
It will be out after I am done with this one, because, yeah, this will take some time, believe me.
Yeah, I've yet to do anything on this patch. I need to.
It's a W patch. It's a good patch.
Yeah.
It's one of the better patches that we got in the game, I think, since the release, at least in my opinion. I had a 1-year break, so I am not the one to speak. But overall, the quality of living, the amount of the content we are getting, the fact that, like I've mentioned, Ascor, the character that is not obtainable through any other means, will be obtainable for the newer players. Well, not entirely newer players, I mean. But the thing is, with Titus, we had also the Battle Pass as a supplement for the shards. So, as the viewers could probably see, my Titus is at almost legendary rarity.
You're missing an orb.
I'm missing an orb. No. I'm waiting for the Lucian quest, so I'll be able to get him to the legendary, because I really want to him as one of my next projects after I am done with New Growth Rope.
It's Stone 2, okay.
So yeah, he's Stone 2, because obviously, as you have noticed, my New Growth Rope, where he's Diamond 2. So yeah, this is where my energy went to improve the big brain bug.
Valid.
But
I've got loose.
Still, like, there is so much good stuff coming that I just hope that we'll keep the pace, like, not we, the Snowprint, of course, in terms of the stuff we are getting inside of the game. And I wanted to add one thing. I have a feeling that they attracted many new players, mainly because, first of all, like, I've got so many views on my 3 latest videos, and I have so many uses of my referral code. Let me show you. This will be a moment of glory, not that one. Come on.
Amazing host.
Really are flexing on us, eh?
Like, look,
I see how it is.
This is imagine how much Nandi could have of this stuff. But
Nandi's like rolling in it.
Besides that, like, look, so much of the referral code usage, and I'm not using this to flex, maybe to a certain degree, but I mean that recent changes were so good, and also probably because of the Space Marine 2, we had a new wave of the players. And I think that both we and Snowprint need to capitalize on that by obviously making a better content, both in terms of the game and game as a content creators. I really can't speak today. But yeah, like what I mean that once again, I will say this, the state of the game could use some of the improvements, and this is the theme for this video, but we are also getting very good stuff in other forms, just not the ones we would like to see.
Can I say something? Because I'm shaking in front of the computer right now. I wanted to say that for the next patch, I really appreciate the reworks. Obviously, like with my attitude towards the orcs, but I feel like the Snappa Reka rework was like kept a secret for such a long time because it wasn't planned, in my opinion. Because I feel like it was done quickly as a project that occurred because the new wave of players would have to use the orcs in the Octarius campaign, and if they were awful, they would feel bad.
Just
And
like
I
we
think
did.
just like we did. Me maxing out Octarius Elite before Indomitus Elite was a pain. But I wanted to say one thing because I will be releasing it, tomorrow in my video. And it's something that I learned from a developer Q&A that I've been doing for the video. And I can share it with you guys. Basically, I asked the main designer of like the characters what is the next faction that might get reworks like orcs did, since we know that Giba Scraps is the last rework. What after Giba Scraps? And I got some information that perhaps, most likely, but not certainly, Black Legion is going to get some love.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Interesting. Okay.
That makes a lot of sense.
So
That'll make a lot of people happy as well. And also, they're they're one of the original like campaign guys. So if their rework helps all new players coming in, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, that would be a very smart thing to do, and I want them to be fun and usable, right? Like,
Well, Angrax doesn't need help.
Yeah, he's like the only usable character from this faction.
He is the all-star. Oh, mind you, I remember when he was terrible. People used to take the mick out of him because his slap, his hit as you walk away, it used to do nothing. Literally, it was just an absolute joke. And there was one person in the Discord, I wish I could remember their name, took them all the way up to Diamond 3, and then he got the rework. And oh my god, he's such a good character now.
He's very good, yeah.
But if
right
you would
times ahead.
If you would look at the Volk, he feels like a discount Maugun Ra.
I
Archonitos
did a comparison between the two.
feels like discount Abraxas.
Yeah.
Harken is just a stat stick, flying stat stick. He doesn't do anything in terms of his abilities because like this might be usable inside maybe of the Sibyl side boss, and I am not even sure about if it is usable there because I don't use him.
I mean, you can get it online on the Magnus boss fight right now. Just like you can get Tiark online by having a kill with Ragnar on the copied character.
Okay.
You can get Tiark to get to 6 hits instead of 3, and he can do proper damage to Magnus then. But +1 hit on Harken for killing a copy.
It's still coping.
It's still total copium. He's like discount card, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like the only benefit he has between him and Karn is the fact that he has flying trait, so he's able to bypass some of the terrain or some of the barbs.
Yeah.
And also,
and then, of course,
no.
Okay.
His name says it all. His name says it all. A bad one. There you go.
I do wonder how much better. I'm sorry.
Just one thought. He should be called Abaddon the Disappointment, not the Spoiler.
Yes.
I do wonder, speaking of Abaddon, how much better he can realistically get, because one of the biggest downsides right now for him is, put aside the fact that his damage buff is negligible, but he only buffs Chaos. However, when they released Ascor also only buffs Chaos. So they are, I don't want to say adamant, but they've Snowprint has shown that, hey, chaos buffs chaos and nothing else. So I do wonder how that's going to play out. Where it's like, oh,
Just
are we...
wish for them to change the rule to buff non-Imperials instead of Chaos only.
That would be good.
Like with
What?
Rodbone not healing Imperials and healing everyone else, right? Like, I feel like that's the better decision to do. It just makes... why are you showing Aitana?
Because I wanted to point out something. If you look at Kalgar or maybe Aitana, they are giving buffs to everybody,
Extra buff, yeah.
but
then
they are giving a better buff for the Imperial units and for the Eldari units. So why not to go that way? Like unify how those buffs are working.
I mean, I think that's kind of how Rodbone works right now, right? It's a normal
check.
heal for Xenos and a better heal for Chaos, I think.
Effect, even no effect.
Yeah,
if
but
Imperial
he heals himself and adjacent friendly units 1000 health
okay.
plus 1000 health if Chaos. So it's like it's good for Xenos and it's better for Chaos, and it's nothing for Imperial. And I can roll with it if it was a case for Abaddon or Ascor or any other buffer in the future. Like, just disable Imperial synergies. I can get the lore thing, the fluff thing. I would like. It should be like Xenos applicable too.
Yeah, so that would enable some different synergies and would help with like incentivizing players to build that character. Because right
maybe
now,
they should do that.
because
I'm
right
just saying
now,
maybe they should do that with from the Imperial excluded Chaos as well.
yeah, maybe that would be also the way. Because right now there are so many different other possibilities to buff characters besides this thing.
I mean, it would be a cool change to disable Imperials buffing Chaos too. I would like it. Like,
I mean, guys,
Kaldar Karn would get gutted. That's fine for me.
guys, let's be honest. Imperials don't really love buffing chaos anyways. There's one good chaos damage dealer in the form of Karn. And that's and Karn only has 4 hits. It's not as if...
Well, not exactly the 4.
It's not
exactly
4.
the 4.
Come on.
No, it is actually 4, because he has 4 hit space, and the other 8 hits, they have their own damage stat. So
in terms of buffing, correct. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so when Kelgar buffs the damage stat of the Karn, the Betrayer, he only buffs the 4 hits. He doesn't buff the 8 hits because of they have their own damage stat.
But then again, you have Eldrion who buffs every...
Yeah, but Eldrion is good.
I mean,
I
mean, one thing that I'm very curious about in the next patch is the ranged melee rework. Because, for example, one of the questions that I asked Jean-Luc was if War Boss, Galgors I mean, still works with Helbrecht in melee. And he said that he doesn't anymore because the War Boss passive won't be working with Helbrecht passive anymore. Because the War Boss passive is mapped as a ranged attack now, and Helbrecht would only work with melee attacks. So perhaps other things will maybe get mixed and matched too, because of the changes. We are not sure because, well, we didn't get the new ability descriptions or anything. But I wonder if there are more new combos or old combos getting destroyed that we can discover, because that's a very interesting thing to do. For example, to allow Dark Strider to buff Snapas Rekas active. That's a huge thing for it, in my opinion.
Passive,
We're all frantically looking for Dark Strider. But
Nandi is lurking. He is here. I mean, that whole buff Dark Strider, I never understood. Because, okay, she got buffed. She's still useless.
I hope that Snappa would get him to the right place.
I mean, what do we want? Because, all the games, there's always going to be good characters, there's going to be bad characters. And do we want bad characters to be, good, or do we want them to be less bad?
Less bad at first, I guess.
Yeah, so I think like what I want right now above all else is for us to get a fourth rate team. There's the Neurotrope, which is struggling. There is Ragnar, which is always reliable. There's Ro, which is meta. I just want to get a fourth good raid team that can compete with the other ones. Because I really did like the game a lot right before Ro came out, because the guild raid meta was so like diverse. You know, you will use Neotrope for Mortarion, you will use Ragnar for like the bosses he was used on, you would use like some weird toolbox into Silent King, and now it just is, you know,
I mean,
roll into everything.
One thing that we could get that we already have in the game if we buffed it a little was the one-hit thing. Like, perhaps it could be. We already have many one-hit characters. We have one-hit buffers. I know that you said that the funny thing about one-hits being playable is that you need to get them to many hits. And I agree, that's the case here. But that kind of team could be a working team if you get the numbers right? And it could be something, well, vastly different from Elgion combos or Neurotrop or Admech combos. Like, it's a weird playstyle that has very unique characters used in it, like Snotvloga, perhaps, if you want to go for the Grots thing, or Ancient Toriad, Vitruvius. Like, those are characters that aren't really considered right now in the game, and getting them to a state where they can form a new raid team that has some advantages against certain bosses and isn't that good against others, that could be a healthy thing for the game, in my opinion. And I'm not just saying it because I have a Diamond 1 Vitruvius, but still, I really enjoy the idea of like high damage, low hits, and getting them pumped even better. I don't care if it's like more hits that are just big damage. It won't hurt my ego. I would prefer like bigger damage on one hit still, but getting those new characters out there and getting them to a playable state outside of tournament arena, because that's the thing right now for them, I think. That would be fine, I think. And we already have the characters. We don't need to like introduce a new faction with complex synergies that will break the meta again. We just need to bump the guys that we have that are, well, kind of unique in a way, and just make them like the fourth contenders, right?
I just feel like the single hitters, they're just in like the worst possible scenario. Like, they're just in such a bad spot. Not in the sense that like they are like, oh, they're not good, but more in the sense that what can you even do with single hitters? Because if you buff their damage to the point where they become viable, like their damage stats, they will one-shot an arena. Okay, so what if you say, hey, I am going to... I'm gonna... What am I saying? Goodness, I completely blanked. Oh yeah, I have like a character that buffs single hitters in a way which is like percentage damage increases. Okay, if you percentage damage increase, then you just break Neurotrope, who does like 140,000 when he's fully set up. So, you know, if you buff them, they either break a mode, or if you buff them in a different way, they break another mode. So they're just kind of condemned to be useless, which is very sad, I feel. No, you guys don't feel the same way?
I mean, you have a point.
I feel sad too. I want them to be fun.
But this is also the point where I thought that changing abilities to work differently inside the different game modes would benefit such situations. But I also get the point that this would be time consuming. And if you consider that we needed like how many months for the orc reworks? Well, too many. Obviously.
Too many.
But yeah, like if that thing is an, let's say, issue, then putting reworking of the whole game mechanic on them just won't do it, because they just won't be able to done that. Well, maybe they will be able to do that, but the effect might be entirely different from the expected one. So it's better we have this saying in Poland that the better things are an enemy of already good things. So maybe it's better to just keep it that way and just find a different solution to this problem. Maybe someone in the comments will have a much bigger brain than we and Snowprint have, and maybe they will propose some idea how to fix this status quo, because this is somewhat of a status quo where we can change anything because it will break the game one way or the another.
Like balancing the game and trying to introduce new teams is a tricky thing for sure. But well, I think that it's worth to have that kind of ambition and try to do it. I don't work at Snowprint, so I don't know if they are spending time like thinking of changes for characters that are already in the game, or if they go like, okay, we'll do this rework and not think about like making Katzkoden playable or something, right? So I know that Katzkoden is like a
He was
target
technically
dummy for
playable
me.
for a little bit.
Yeah, I really
First came
enjoyed.
out.
I loved the idea of Katzkoden being playable against Screamer Killer. Like when I heard that people were getting hyped to use Katzkoden, it felt so good to me. Like I was like, holy shit, he finally has his place. And then people started using Ravas as the tank, and it got blown out.
Yes, because he uses the grenades, we get that. But since I am joking, I also have an entirely different point. If someone from the Snowpoint has survived until this moment, please leave a comment. I am really curious if you are watching those podcasts, and if so, then obviously we'll know that way. And also, since we are here for almost 2 hours, just before this podcast, I have said that 1 hour should be enough. So I am presenting a question to you, my fellow gentlemen. Should we finish it? Because also I think somewhere halfway we have changed topic a little bit.
I mean, you can basically turn it into a second episode.
I think so, yeah. Put it into two.
Yeah, probably it will be a better way just to split it into different videos. But yeah, I also think we should conclude this because we have joked even earlier that probably we could talk for even more hours because there are just so many topics inside of the game, the good ones, the bad ones, the ugly, let's say. But yeah, I really enjoyed this episode, and I think it went much better than the previous one. I think you will agree with me on that statement.
Definitely.
It's hard to disagree. I prefer
Yeah.
the laughs instead of the cringe.
Yeah, it's much better, much lively, and I think we are just showing our emotions, and we are also feeling comfortable with each other, and the fact that we can see each other. But yeah, thanks for joining us. For the viewers, I hope you have also survived until the end, despite me not knowing if I will just cut this into 2 different videos or just make it one, probably the former. But well, also since you are my guest, then probably you want to add something on the ending of this video. Besides the awkward silence.
Subscribe to all of us. We're all great. As you can tell, we've all got different takes on these things. If you haven't heard of us before, go watch our YouTubes and enjoy everything.
I really appreciate Nox's message, and I wanted to say that Snowprint, please add more guild bundles like the Valentine's and holiday ones, please.
Draupnir, do you have something to add, or can I finish the video?
What it do? Oh man.
What it do?
Today, in this very important video, I will be holding 3 people hostage and using their ransom money to fund my tactics addiction. Let's get right into it. Nothing, I have nothing. It was very fun. Thank you very much for having me, as always.
Same.
Thank you as well, and thank you, dear viewers, and I hope we will hear each other on the next episode, no matter which channel of each of us. Maybe you will subscribe to all of us. Yay!
Oh yeah, it's true. We have the sound thing.
We can do the claps for the ending.